viewers, welcome back to Divinely Inspired Media. My name is Sylvia, and today I'm super excited to be here again with yet another new thing. Actually, let me say it's important for us to have this discussion that we're having today with Doris, because today we are talking about healthy boundaries. Why do you let people inside your lives without boundaries? Why do you allow others to manipulate you? Why do you just let yourself live without boundaries? That's what we are talking about today. But before Doris comes in, it's important for me to appreciate the Jumbo Village Hotel for giving us this opportunity to do our shoot here. It's such an amazing place to be in. Fresh air, some good food, a good garden for all your events. It's a nice place in Muranga County. You can come and have a good time here. Now, Doris, before I say much, because I can talk. You're welcome to the conversation. You can say hi to our viewers, and then we take over. We can start by introducing yourself and then tell us about healthy boundaries.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Sylvia, for this opportunity. It's such a privilege to be back. And hi, Divinely Inspired Media fans. I'm so glad to be back. My name is Doris. I am so passionate about mental wellness. I love speaking about pain, grief, and anything to do with mental wellness. And I'm so glad that Sylvia saw it right for me to be back. And I want us to speak about healthy boundaries, as they say. Yes, we've gotten started.
Yes, definitely. Mental wellness, anything that keeps us sane is what we talk about here, you know. And I remember last time you were talking to us about pain, and we had a really engaging conversation. And now we want to know about healthy boundaries. What makes us allow ourselves, we allow other people into our lives without boundaries? What makes us that, let me say, I don't want to use the bad word, but I wanted to say lose. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say. What makes us so open for everyone such that it becomes unhealthy?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I would like by starting by defining the word boundary.
Yeah.
A boundary is just a limit that we set ourselves on how much or how far a person may go in any area of our lives, or how far we should go when it comes to other people's lives.
Yeah.
So that is basically what boundaries are, or else the ability to say yes or no, the ability to, to not please others, the ability to choose ourselves first. Basically, that is what we're going to discuss about today. And Sylvia is asking a very good question. She's asking, how do we find ourselves just allowing anyone to do whatever they want to do in our lives?
Yeah.
And I would say it starts by allowing a small thing, just a small thing. It could be like, for example, you handshaking someone and they prolong the handshake. You're not comfortable, but you don't want to say it.
Yeah.
So the next time they'll extend and hug you, you'll not be comfortable. The next time they will keep
And
on pushing,
I'll not
keep on
say
pushing.
it.
A lot will happen. So if you allow people to go beyond the limit they're supposed to go up to, they'll keep on violating your boundaries. And it comes from the inability to say no, because growing up, I don't know how many of us were taught healthy boundaries. It seemed like if you declined an offer, if you declined from doing something that some people expected you to do, you're kind of kakichwa ngumu. That is how it was interpreted.
Yes.
And so growing up, we were taught to say just yes to everything, which is unhealthy, which is not good.
Yeah, and actually, there's something you have noted, and I've always thought about we say salamu. You say someone wakes up and says good morning. You say good morning. Hi, how is your day? Good. It's always good. I don't know if it's wrong to say my day is bad, because I've never heard anyone saying my day is bad. No matter how bad their day has been, they first of all have to say, I am good. And then the rest later. I think that's part of also not exercising boundaries, or the right, not boundaries per se, but the right words to express yourself.
We are not authentic.
Yeah,
we are not true.
Yeah.
And I think it is still to do with our culture, especially we Africans. We were taught that anytime you're greeted, it is well. And that is why our generation is sinking into depression, you know, because you want to show people that you're doing well, but deep down you're dying, you know. You want to tell everyone, maybe even when you're going through the worst of the situation, someone will call you and you're like, I am doing well, how are you? And deep down, you know, I am drowning. Deep down, you know, I want to commit suicide. But we are not authentic enough, which is wrong. It is wrong. And I would really advise people to be, just speak your truth. You know, I am not doing well. I have not had a good day. It's been bad. It's been chaotic at work. I didn't like this and this and that. And let me tell you, the right people will not tire listening to you. But instead of hiding that pain, and then we find ourselves losing it. Yeah. So I think it's a bad culture, and I wouldn't advocate for it. I would just advise people to be genuine. Be genuine. When you need help, I think it's wisdom to be true. When you need help, ask for help when you need it. Instead of allowing yourself to drown. I think it's selfish, actually.
Okay, why do we find ourselves there? First of all, you find someone shaking your hand, squeezing your hand, and you're not able to say that is wrong. You find someone maybe inviting you to a place, but you feel you want to be there, and you're not able to say, I do not want this, or else you have taken too much of my time, and I don't feel it is okay for me to be here. Why do we find it difficult? From inside, there's just something that tells you, you don't want this, but you're there anyway. Yeah.
I would start by saying that majority of us suffer from that, but the good thing is that it's not all of us. By the way, there are people who are firm, and their no is a no, and their yes is a yes. They don't want to people please, you know. But I trace it back to our upbringing, you know, our background. I've been reading a book. It's called A Daughter's Disgrace. I cannot remember the author. And in the book, we have two daughters. Their dad passed on when they were so young, and then we have the mother. So the first girl, or the firstborn, is good looking, you know, very attractive and all this. Then the second one is not as attractive. And so the mother is used to complimenting the older one and speaking bad things about the younger one. And okay, I'm not yet done reading the book because I want to know the ending. But this young girl grows up looking for approval. So if anything will bring approval, then she's okay doing it. She's okay doing it. Even if she doesn't feel comfortable doing it. For example, in that book, I find that girl looking for some employment simply because the older sister wants to have a wedding and she cannot fund herself. So the younger one wants to go looking for any kind of employment to be able to support the sister, even if she's not comfortable doing it. Why? Because she feels she's not good enough. So anything that will bring approval is good for her. And that is the problem that we have, especially with childhood trauma and all those nasty things growing up. Sometimes we find ourselves in that situation unconsciously, you know. You just want to be good to people so that they can accept you the way you are. And I think it's not a good thing. It is not a good thing. Yeah.
Now, how do we grow out of that? Because that's how we are. Probably we have exercised that for the longest time now, and we didn't know that there are boundaries that are called healthy boundaries. You know, when we're talking about physically, we have fences that demarcate this side and that side. But in life, we do not have that physically. How do we create it in our minds? Yes.
I want to pick it from where you've said. In life, we have fences. You know? And I want to use an example of a farmer. For example, if you have a piece of land and maybe you are growing your maize, if you fail to fence that land, it means anyone may get it anytime. Any animal may come in, destroy whatever they want to destroy. But if you fence that piece of land, it means you restrict who is allowed to be in. And that is how life is supposed to be. Similarly, we have our homes. You know, you lock your door because there are people who are supposed to be inside at any given time. But they are intruders. You know, anyone may come, maybe even a robber. They want to take something from your house. If you've locked your door, they will not get access to your house. But if you've not locked it, then it means anyone can get it anytime. So that is the same thing that happens in our lives. And if we're not cautious enough to identify it, it irritates us. Because I believe there is no vacuum. There is no vacuum in life. So it's either you know yourself and you're controlling yourself, or someone else is doing it. And maybe before even we can know how to build these boundaries, we may ask ourselves, do we have types of these boundaries? And yes, we have. We have two major types of healthy boundaries. One is soft boundaries, just a soft boundary, you know. For example, I may say, I'll be leaving work at 5 p.m. But one day my boss just requested me to just remain behind for 20 minutes to just help with some office work. And so I'll be like, this one I'm willing to compromise because it's not a big deal. You know, a soft boundary. Yeah? You can compromise it. It is more of a wish than, you know, like you can say I am a diehard of this. But then we have hard boundaries. A hard boundary is the non-negotiables. You know, this is my truth. You either take it or take it. You know, I'm not giving you options. For example, you may go to a party and everyone else is drinking, and they may not understand why you don't indulge yourself in alcohol. And regardless of the reasons they may give you, you're like, I don't like it. I don't want your reasons. I am not a drunkard. I don't want to take alcohol. You know, that is a hard boundary. I cannot violate this one. When it comes to this one, I am not negotiating. Yeah. So I think it is good to just know what should I place as a hard boundary and what should I have as a soft boundary.
Does it mean, sorry for cutting you, does it mean that the soft boundaries are things that you can compromise?
Yeah, you can compromise.
Okay, you have boundaries on that one, but you can compromise somehow.
Depending on how genuine the reason is.
Yeah.
You know, like the example I used, you know, it is not like your boss is always supposed to request you to remain behind.
Yeah.
If they have a good reason as to why they need you to remain behind for some time, then you can compromise.
Yeah.
But there are those things that you are like, on this one, I don't want to listen. I cannot do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And then on the same, now when we are talking about boundaries, another type of boundaries is like we are talking about physical boundaries.
Yeah.
You know, you may be standing talking to someone and their proximity is like, I'm not comfortable.
It's too much.
It is
too close.
To me.
Yes.
You know, I'm not comfortable. Or the way we are talking about handshake.
Yeah.
I shake my hand, yes, but don't prolong that handshake. It is not necessary.
Yeah.
Or someone just comes hugging you and you're like, you know, it puts someone off. That is physical. So when it comes to physical boundary, I think it is even embarrassing, you know. So speak it up. Wambi, tell them, I don't want to be this close. I feel uncomfortable when you prolonging your handshake. I feel uncomfortable you hugging me. I think we're not that close.
Yeah.
Just say hi and that is okay. You know, we have emotional boundaries. Emotional boundaries, I think that is the most sensitive part because that is where people don't know how to say no. For example, you gave us a very good example of a person not being able to say, I won't be able to attend your event. For example, you're invited to a birthday party and maybe everyone is giving 5,000.
Yeah.
And you know very well, Sylvia, you don't have that 5,000.
Oh, that's my salary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you want to please the one who is inviting you. And you better go borrowing, you better go taking a loan so that you can attend, you know. Instead of declining and telling the person, you know what, this time I am not able to. But if you invite me next time, be sure I'll show up. I'll come through for you. And we don't want to do that because we want to prove a point.
Yeah.
You know, emotional boundaries. People will keep on identifying our names, you know, talking ill about us, showing rudeness straight on our face, and we are
unable to do anything about it.
Yes, we don't do anything about it. You know, a person really hurts you, but you don't want to talk about it. You better swallow the pain than speak about it. And I think that is the most damaging one because I've had people suffer in marriages, suffer in relationships, suffer in workplaces. You know, someone says something as a joke, they are body shaming you. You don't want to say, I am not comfortable
with that conversation.
You know, it is bad, but we feel like if we speak up, we are becoming insensitive or too fragile, I may say. Well, that is not the case.
Yeah.
And then we have financial boundaries, you know. It is good to support our parents, but sometimes it reaches a point whereby you have to choose yourself first. You don't have to not pay your rent simply because your mom needs a new dress. It is not logic, you know. So financial boundaries, you know, this is how much I earn. When it comes to charity, yes, I'll help out, but this is I can go up to this extent. I don't have to go beyond this because if I go beyond this, then I'm going to suffer. But we don't want to say no. As I said, we don't want to say no.
Especially when it comes to family, feels like you're doing something wrong by not giving your sister that 2K urgently.
You know, and I think that is another thing that hinders us from having healthy boundaries because we feel like we are guilty. You know, we are guilty.
We are guilty.
Sylvia really invited me to her event. I didn't manage to go. And no, so atafikiria nini.
Exactly.
You know,
I think we always,
it's not such of a big deal to them as it is to ourselves. We feel guilty. We feel like we're not putting our best foot forward. We're not showing up for people as we are supposed to. But trust me, that is not the case. That is not the case. And if you cannot choose yourself first, trust me, nobody else will choose you. Nobody else is going to choose you.
True.
And so I want us to ask ourselves today, how do you develop healthy boundaries?
Exactly.
How do you naturally protect your emotional self? Because I think that is the most important one. First is by identifying your priorities. You know, a priority is something that you cannot do without. A need. It is a need. It is not a want. What are your non-negotiables? For example, you may be, yes, you work, but according to you, family is more important than work. And so family is your priority. So when you go to work and your boss is like, he wants you to be, or he or she wants you to be in school all the time or in any other place all the time, you'll be like, no, I'll choose my family any day. So we agree, I'll be working from 7 maybe to 2 p.m. and then from that, don't give me extra work. I will be with my family because my family is my priority. I was traveling to work another day using public means, and it's a matatu that I've used for so many days, and I don't know what made me realize that the same people that I see every day are the same people in this matatu. And mind you, it comes from Nairobi every day going to Kiriaini. And I was asking myself, what must this be about? And my mind registered, these people come from Nairobi every day to work in Kiriaini. And then nikajiuliza, kwani they don't feel the pinch of the fare every day, you know,
it's too much.
Every day they are commuting and spending too much.
And fatigue.
You know. And I think it's too much. It's too much. But what rushed into my mind was priorities. You know, this person has chosen their family. I better be with my wife. I better be with my children, no matter what cost I'm going to pay. So identify your priorities. Your priorities will help you define how far you should go and how far other people as well should go when it comes to your life. That is one. Secondly, commit to these boundaries. Sylvia, don't tell me you don't like so and so hugging you, and the next time I'm finding new people together, they're still doing the same thing, you know.
Someone is unable to say no.
Simply saying no. Don't commit to your boundaries. You know, I want to love my family more. I want to provide, I want to give more time to them. Give you family time. Commit to that. Don't just say, I'll start it tomorrow, next week, maybe next month, next year. You'll never do it. So commit to that boundary. Because you realize if you keep on doing something that you are violating your boundaries, knowingly or unknowingly, you become uncomfortable. You know, you will not be happy extending at work, knowing so well that you're supposed to be with your kids. So when you list down your priorities, commit to them. Commit to this. Say, I don't do this, and I will not do it. That is it. So we have priorities, then we have commitment. Then number 3, learn to speak up. I know this one is tough, but learn to speak up. For example, I use the example of someone body shaming you. You know, our generation, I don't know what is wrong with people. You can say anything to anyone, anytime, anywhere. And I think it's wrong. So when you feel like someone is overstepping you, learn to speak up boldly. But you don't have to be out of control. You know, you are shouting, you are emotionally unstable, crying, no. But just tell them, I feel like whatever you told me is not right, and I would appreciate if you never repeated that again. You know, how, some people are used to shouting at people, and maybe it makes you feel bad. So address it. Tell them, I would appreciate, even if you are correcting me, say it politely. I will still hear you out. You don't have to shout at me. Choose your words well. Or maybe the other thing is speak up. I witnessed a person who they want to know where you're working. They want to know how much you are earning, where you are living, how much you're paying for your rent. Oh my God, it is too much. You know, people are, I don't want to call them shameless, but it is bad. It is bad. When someone comes asking for your working station and you're not comfortable telling them your salary, and you feel like they're not so close to know how much you earn, don't allow them to. Tell them, I think you're overstepping. It is too much.
That reminds me of, there's a time I had gone somewhere with some people, and then we went to a certain very beautiful home. Very beautiful, very beautiful. So one lady asked the owner of the house, yeah, this place is so cool, so beautiful, the environment so serene. How much do you pay? How much is the rent for this house? I found that
You are
too
pissed off.
intruding, and I was pissed off, and I was like, I felt like I should just run out of that place and not be part of the team, because it's
Sickly.
yeah, it
bad,
is.
it's
Honestly,
awful.
it is. You don't ask people how much they pay their houses.
And how much they earn. Honestly.
Exactly.
No.
He felt compelled to answer it because she said how much she pays for the rent. As for me, I don't think I should say how much I pay for the rent unless you want to pay the rent for me.
I get it.
And you're not paying the rent for me. So if it is my house, my rent, then why are you asking?
You know, it's annoying, especially when it's coming from a grown up.
And you're asking when there's another, there's a team of people. There's
Not
a
even in
crowd.
private.
Yeah, not even in private. I can ask you in private.
So it's not even
if
a
I'm
genuine
looking
concern.
forward to maybe moving into such a place, that neighborhood, or a house like that one, and as a friend, But now we are here, we are like 10 guys, we've come to maybe say hi or to see your kid. And first thing is how much you pay your rent. It's disgusting. It is.
I hope our fans will never be victims to such.
It is,
It's
guys.
bad. It's
Do
bad.
not
Don't
ever ask people how much they pay.
or even
their
ask
rent.
people, you may have a person who got married 5 years ago, and then
Yeah.
everyone is like, when are you getting your first child?
Oh,
You don't even know their
boundaries.
struggle.
Yeah.
Boundaries. Stop asking. If they've not talked about it, don't initiate such a conversation. Or maybe you may know a person who got married, and then all of a sudden they don't have their ring. And you're like, oh, what happened to your husband? I cannot see your ring. They already know they don't have it. So why are you triggering something that they have not even invited you to their discussion in their private space?
Exactly.
It's bad manners. Honestly, it's bad manners.
Yeah.
So that is what I was talking about. Someone comes, asks you not a very weighty matter. You answer that question. The next time they come with a huge one, the next time, and you find they're not respecting you.
And
because you
definitely,
allowed them
this
to.
person, maybe the person who answered how much they pay their rent, yeah? I believe probably afterwards they're like, why did I tell him, or why did I tell her? And definitely you are uncomfortable saying it in front of like 10, 15
Everyone.
people. It is wrong.
It's wrong.
Yeah. And
It's
now
wrong.
that person did not exercise a healthy boundary.
It is not. It is not healthy.
I think it's the both.
Both of them.
Yeah, both of them. The one
This
who
one
answered.
didn't know how far this one should go, and then this one just violated. This one is mannerless. It's mannerless, so to say. So both of them didn't, because a boundary is supposed to be don't go beyond here, and I'll not go beyond here.
Yeah.
So when you identify someone going beyond the boundary or trying to violate in any way, you're supposed to speak up. So both of them failed.
Yeah.
They failed, honestly. People think when they're setting boundaries, they are doing it because of others.
Yeah.
Maybe because there is something I want to prove, so watajua mimi ni nani. But no, when you're setting boundaries, you do it because of your own self. For instance, Sylvia, tell me why you do a thing that is really hurting you simply because you want to prove a point. If you establish a healthy boundary, it means you will not do it. You will not do it. You don't care what everyone else thinks.
Yes.
As long as your intention is good, you will not do it. So we may ask ourselves, what are some of the benefits of having healthy boundaries? Does it benefit us in any way? And definitely it does. For example, number one, it saves you from anxiety and stress. It will save you big time. I used an example and said you don't have to chip in financially if you're not able to do at that particular moment. So what it does is I don't have to go take a loan and then know where my rent will come from and then be walking to work, whereas I'm supposed to use a bus simply because I contributed for someone an amount that sikuwa nimefika hapo. It is extremely huge. So it will save you from a lot. Just saying a simple no. Kindly, like, let me not do it this time, I'll do it. I am not good, I'm not stable financially right now, but I will appreciate next time. And it goes as far as someone wanting to share you their troubles, what they are going through. And maybe that day, Sylvia, you've had a bad day. And so, even if they share, you'll not hear them out because you are more worried about yourself. So, it is right to tell that person, you know what, today I am not able to offer you any emotional support, but if you come tomorrow, I will be glad to assist. As simple as that. But when we want to be all over, everywhere, all the time, it is tiring. It is tiring. And so if we learn to exercise healthy boundaries, saying no when we're supposed to say, and saying yes, when we're supposed to say yes, it saves us from a lot of stress and anxiety. And then the other thing is, it creates self-awareness. Once you start saying no to the things that you don't like and saying yes to the things that you love doing, it will help you realize yourself more. You'll be like, kumbe I love doing this and I don't love this. Kumbe I love when someone talks to me this way as compared to when they shout at me, when they are rude at me. You know, you become more self-aware. So going forward, I will only engage with people who treat me this way, who talk to me this way, and who behave this way. You become more self-aware. And then it helps us build healthy relationships. Because I think it's draining to be with someone who doesn't have boundaries. Because you'll find them all over with everyone, and then you'll get disappointed, you'll get angry at them. So when you're able to, even at marriages or relationships, you know, I find some married women, you got married, back then you were working, now you get married, have the first kid, have the second kid, quit your work, quit your dreams, and all. Have boundaries. Let your husband know, yes, you married me, but you found me with a job, with my life going on, and my life doesn't have to stop simply because I've gotten married to you. So it is as simple as that. Once you're able to communicate, instead of building up anger, you let your spouse understand that, oh, this one had a dream. They want to reach this point. They want to advance in their education. So once they understand, you will be able to relate better rather than when you just quiet and you just allow them to violate your boundaries and you're getting angry and you're not speaking up. It messes everything up. So I think it's good that we exercise healthy boundaries, and also not just checking out on others, how they treat us, but also what kind of energy do we give to the people surrounding us? You know, Sylvia, I don't expect you to treat me how you would not want me to treat you. You know, if you don't like being body shamed, don't do it to me. Leave my complexion alone, leave my looks alone, my hair alone, my everything alone, my struggles. If you would not want me to do that thing to you, please don't do it to me, because that is how we are able to relate with each other and live peacefully.
And then, of course, when you're doing things like body shaming others, I think it's also important to always think about your child. You know, that person who comes first hand to you. Even if you don't have a child, think about it. Perhaps if your child was told that, or if your child looked like that and someone told them that, how would you feel? Not even that child, how would you feel? Thank you so much for that conversation. A lot of wisdom there. Trust you me from today, healthy boundaries. And I hope even our viewers will be exercising healthy boundaries. And remember, a no is a strong answer. A no is a standalone answer. A no means something. A no speaks for you. So next time someone tries to violate your boundaries, please remember we had this conversation on healthy boundaries. Keep it divinely inspired media. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.